Hello students, in the last day we have completed the phylum, that was Hemichordata. Now after that we will move to the next part, that is chordata. Before coming to the chordata we have to know their classification. How actually the non-chordates are different from the chordates, what are the characteristics they are present in the chordate and their classification. We will see in this part. Before coming to the phylum chordata, their general characteristics and all, first of all we will see the classification of chordata. So what are those chordates? Chordates means those organisms which have a true notochord, which is a stiff rod-like structure, and it is present in the dorsal region, as well as this notochord have to be developed from the mesoderm. Then we can call, yes, this organism is truly a chordate organism, right? So first of all, in that classification, let me tell you what are the differences between the non-chordate and the chordates. Okay, so simply I will write here that non-chordate and here this is chordate. If it is suppose in case of the vertebrates, right? So if you see in case of the notochord, okay, suppose notochord, so this notochord is not present in the non-chordates, and in chordates it is present, okay. But yes, there is a very important thing is there, that is the nerve cord, okay, right? I have told you that if you see in case of the and that organism like mollusca, they will have double ventral nerve cord. Arthropoda, they have double ventral nerve cord, right? They have nerve cord, not the notochord, right? So what happened in case of the non-chordates, they will have the nerve cord but they don't have the notochord. But if you see the chordates, then the chordates we will have the notochord as well as we have the nerve cord. But there is a difference. What is the difference? That this nerve cord in the non-chordates, right? It is ventral, okay. But if you see in case of the chordates, then the nerve cord is present on the dorsal side, right? This is very much important. Next one, if you see a organ, that is heart, right? So heart is very much important because their positions are different in the non-chordates and chordates, okay. If you see in case of the non-chordates, then the heart is present on the dorsal side, right? And if you see in case of the chordates, then if you compare with you also, we are also coming under the chordates, so that's why if you see we will have the ventral heart, right? So these are very important characteristics. We should know all these differences, okay? Difference between non-chordates and chordates. So notochord and nerve cord, they are different, okay? Next one, if you see all those characteristics, they are going to be important. So those things you have to write. I will provide you in the PDF. Now after that, see a typical chordate, how it look like, right? So typical chordate, if I suppose draw a chordate, suppose, then this chordate will have this characteristics, okay. So just see, this is the organism, this is ventral side, this is dorsal side, right? So where, on which side this notochord will be present? Notochord will be present on the dorsal side, right? And in case of chordate, we will have both the nerve cord and the notochord, both of them they will be present, isn't that? So here, this will be the first structure and this is the nerve cord, right? So we will have the nerve cord, and just below the nerve cord we will have the notochord. Remember that this is a very important, and this may come also, which is present above whom or which is present below whom. Lot of questions can be asked that notochord lie behind or above the nerve cord, okay. So see, first of all we will have the nerve cord and just below that we will have the notochord. Otherwise in this region, the other characteristics like you will have the mouth and a complete alimentary canal that will be present. So mouth and anus will be present, okay. Next one, if you see, this organism will have paired gill slits, right? So paired gill slits are very important characteristics. Gill slits will be present. Gill slits will actually help in circulation of the water, who can take the gases, oxygen gases inside and outside their body and circulate the water outside. So the paired gill slits will be present in case of the chordates, right? But in case of the non-chordates, they will not have the gill slits, they will have just the gills, right? Now another very unique characteristic that is present in the chordates but not in the non-chordates. What is that? That is the tail region, okay? And the post-anal tail, this is actually present for balancing the organism, okay? So to balance this organism, the chordates will have the post-anal tail. So how much characteristics or how many characteristics they're typical to one chordate? Okay, so in case of chordate, 4 typical characteristics will be there. What are they? First of all, presence of nerve cord. Okay, second characteristics, presence of notochord, right? Third characteristics is present paired gill slits, right? And the fourth characteristics that should be also present in a chordate, that is the post-anal tail, right? Now you might think that we are chordate but we don't have the post-anal tail. Yes, we are chordate but we don't have the paired gill slits, okay? So what is that? These 4 characteristics will be present in every chordate at least in one period of their life. That means in the whole life cycle, at least in some period of their lifetime, these 4 characteristics will be present. If you see in case of human, yes, we also had the paired gill slits and the post-anal tail in the embryonic state. First of all, we have this paired gill slits. They were actually perforated. But whenever the embryonic development proceeded, these paired gill slits, they are covered by the skin and we developed the lungs. Similarly, yes, also we had the post-anal tail. That region, the vertebral column, those bones, they actually get elongated. But whenever we proceed the embryonic development, in the later period of the development, what happened? Those last 3-4 vertebrae, they actually get fused, okay? So you can see, I will give you all those things, the sacral and the coccyx region, number of bones, they actually get compressed and form only one bone, okay? So we'll come to that later on. But yes, what happened, at least in one period of our lifetime, these 4 characteristics will be present. Either this will present throughout the life, that will be persisted throughout the life, or if it is not, then at least one period of their life this will be present for sure, okay? So that's why these characteristics are known as the primitive characteristics of the chordates. What are they? Presence of nerve cord, presence of notochord, presence of paired gill slits, and presence of post-anal tail. Remember that. Now after that, coming to the classification of the chordata, right? So just see what are the chordate classification. See, this is the last class, right? This is the last phylum. So this phylum chordata, this is divided into 2 main divisions, okay? What are they? One is known as protochordata, okay, and one is known as euchordata, right? Now what is protochordata and euchordata? Proto means primitive, so these organisms are primitive chordate, and euchordata means they are the true chordate. EU, this word, if you the prefix you get, that means it is true, like coelomate. Eucoelomate means true coelom, right? If you see chordate, euchordate means these organisms are truly chordate animal. Yes, protochordates, they are also chordate animal, but they are the primitive chordate. Maybe some of the characteristics, they are in the developing state, they are forming state. So that's why we will call these organisms as the protochordate animals, right? Now these protochordates, they are also known as acraniata, right? Acraniata. And those euchordates, they are known as the craniata. Now what is the meaning of acraniata and chordata? Craniata. What is acranium and cranium? That means what is the meaning of cranium? Cranium means actually a structure, a membrane, a envelope which covers the brain, right? Suppose this is our brain, okay? Above the brain, around the brain, we will have a structure. This is a membrane present that is known as the cranium, right? And cranium is present in case of the chordates, right? But this cranium will not be present in the protochordates. That's why they are known as acraniata. And euchordates, they will have the cranium, so that's why they are a truly chordate animal, and they are also known as eucraniata or simply craniata. So let us see the next divisions. That further, these protochordates, they are of two types. They are the subphylum. What are they? One is known as Urochordata, right? And another one, this is known as Cephalochordata. Okay, and euchordates, they are vertebrata. Okay, Urochordata. What is the meaning of Uro? Uro means tail, right? And Cephal means head. Here, Cephal means head. Now, what is the meaning of Urochordata? Urochordata means those organisms which have the notochord that is present only in the tail region. These organisms are grouped under Urochordate division, a different separate subphylum that is known as Urochordata. And another subphylum is Cephalochordata. That means right from the head to the end, posterior most region, they will have the notochord and it will be persisted throughout life. But if you see in case of Urochordata, Urochordata do not have the notochord persisted throughout their life. Only in the larval stage they will have the notochord. Okay, so we will discuss all these things later on whenever we will study in detail about the Urochordate and the Cephalochordate. We will see in detail. Now, if you see the vertebrate, so these vertebrates are further divided into another groups. Okay, so all those divisions we will see later. Yeah, they're Pisces and Tetrapoda. So further divisions we'll discuss later. Pisces means those are the fishes, different type of fishes we have. We will discuss all those things later on. And Tetrapoda means those organisms which have 4 limbs. So they are grouped under Tetrapoda. We will discuss in detail later. But these are the general characteristics and the classification of the phylum Chordata. Hope all of you have understood those things. Remember, I will tell you one very important line, that all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Okay, this is one very important line and you may ask to explain the meaning of this line. Okay, so what is that? If you see the classification, so in the classification what we have seen, that if you see the phylum Chordata, we will have 2 divisions. What are they? Protochordata and Euchordata. Under the protochordate we have Urochordate and Cephalochordate, which have nerve cord and notochord separately present. Nerve cord is present above and notochord is present below. So these are the Urochordate and Cephalochordate grouped under the primitive chordate or also protochordate. But if you see the vertebrata, then how this structure is different. Okay, says see what happened. Yes, here suppose this is the notochord, right? Earlier the notochord was present like that and just above that nerve cord was present. But now what happened? See, this was the nerve cord. But what happened, as the nerve cord is very much essential for our body. This is the spinal cord. This is the extension of the brain which will form the central nervous system. We will see all those things. So what happened, this structure is very much important. Spinal cord is very much important, so that's why we have to protect it, and it is just present after the skin, so it need to be protected properly. So that's why what happened, to protect that spinal cord, nerve cord, what happened, this notochord completely have or completely cover the spinal cord or the nerve cord, right? Now normally this notochord is a hollow structure, and inside that hollow structure we have the nerve cord, right? Now one thing also we should know, that from the nerve cord what happened, a number of spinal nerves that will arise. So it is arising, okay? So whenever those things will arise, and above we have a stiff rod-like structure, how it will be possible that those spinal nerve can arise? So that's why what happened, this notochord is divided into some pieces, and piece of notochord is known as vertebrae, right? So this way some vertebrae have developed, okay, right? So these are the vertebrae, understand? So whenever all those vertebrae are developed, then completely it is possible that the nerve cord can be protected, and also it will allow the spinal accessory nerve to arise from the spinal cord or from the nerve cord. So it is arising, thus nerve will arise from the space between the two vertebrae, right? So this is known as the spinal nerves that will arise from the nerve cord. So just see what happened. This will be present in the vertebrates. This will be not present in the urochordate and the cephalochordate, right? So that's why the vertebrates, they are the chordates. See, vertebrate will have the notochord and the nerve cord. But if you see all the chordates, then the urochordate and the cephalochordate will not have the pieces, right? And that will be also not covered by, the nerve cord will not be covered by the notochord, right? So that's why all the chordates are non-vertebrate, but yes, all the vertebrates are chordates. Like all the pulleys are men, but all men are not pulleys. So just simple like this. You have to explain this. You just write it and show it to me. So this is about the classification of chordata. Hope all of you have understood. So later on, after that, we will proceed to the different subdivisions, phylums. We will discuss the protochordata in the next video. Thank you.